What's up guys, today I'm filming myself doing a service on the E90. So service is overdue. It was actually due in April, it's now May, but I've just not had much time with moving and doing some bits and bobs that I've been doing. So we're going to service it today. So I'm just going to take you through what I'm going to be doing. Got air filter, fuel filter, oil filter, cabin filter, something else, Aircon Bomb, all that sort of stuff. I like to put one on through the car just to keep the aircon nice and fresh, basically. So also what we've got in here is I've got my new garage, which is super gimmicky, but I've not had a garage with anything like that before, and I'm really excited because I can just roll up to it and just. So now we've got the bike nestled away. It's still a bit messy in here, but you can fit a car in here easily when it's sorted out. Just need to do a bit of tidying in here. Let's get working on the car. Also, I'm now filming on my new GoPro which has come. I ordered a second-hand GoPro Hero 5 off eBay. I didn't want a brand new one. I don't think I'm going to get the benefit, it's only a slight generational improvement. I've got the GoPro Hero 5, so I'm pretty pleased with that. So we're filming on that. I'm going to see how the footage turns out. Hopefully it's decent for you guys. Just help me get some sort of more. I ain't got any mounts or anything for it at the minute yet, so I'm just going to be handheld, but I can just poke it into areas where I won't be able to poke, full-size DSLR. So the first thing we're going to be doing is the wiper blades. So these have needed changing since I got the car, but I just haven't got around to changing them. I thought, I'll do it when I service it, so now it's actually time for me to do it. So I always go for Bosch Aero Twin, that's the name. So Bosch Aero Twin. Basically, I always go for these as they have the spoiler on them, so at high speed they still wipe. Not that I'd have tested them over 70 or anything like that at all. They're quite expensive usually, but as with all my service stuff, which is all down here, I wait until Euro Car Parts has a sale on, and you just enter one of the codes. They have one about every weekend. So yeah, I just managed to get that. Get my oil from OP Oils. I think we've got 10 litres of Fuchs BMW LLO4 approved 5W30 for like 60 quid delivered or something, which is ridiculous. So I'm still going to have some to top up with as well. So well happy with that. Right, so first things first, wipers. Yeah, absolutely spot on. There's like a little, on the E90s, if you lift them up, there's like a little clip under here. You probably won't be able to see that on the GoPro. See if we can focus that manually. I have no idea how to use this thing. So there's like a little clip in here that just sort of comes off, and then basically you just do that, clip that side in. I think that clip's a bit distorted. Hang on. Okay, so after fanning around with that for a minute, easiest way, I think my clip's a little bit distorted, easiest way is to sort of come in, slide that bit in first, and then just clip that. So that's the clip that releases it. And then you can just put the new wipers on. So yeah, that should make a massive difference. My other ones were just juddering all over the place, they were bouncy and they weren't really wiping much. So yeah, especially being in England when all we get is rain. Some nice wiping action right there. There's a huge bed crapper right there, which is incredibly annoying. Yeah, absolutely spot on. You don't realise, you don't appreciate good wipers until you've had really rubbish ones for a while, and then you think, yeah, I really should have done that sooner. Alright, quick, cool, let's get on with the rest of it. Alright, next up is the cabin air filter. So I've got an activated charcoal one, which has like, pollen and I don't know, some sort of biological resistance, something like that, I don't know. It's basically just great for pollen if you've got hay fever, which unfortunately I do. Imagine being allergic to a plant, great. It really helps. So there's a screw there, a screw at the other side, a couple of clips along here, here, screw there, and then it just comes off and you just slide the new one in. Sorted, let's do that now. so I've taken the cabin air filter off from here. It's basically in this sort of assembly, and it's just clipped in like that. You just unclip it, and there is your cabin air filter. You might think, oh, this looks really bad, looks really dirty, but it's actually previously been an activated charcoal one, so that's why it looks grey. Yeah, so this is actually part of the almost housing, so the clips on here and here and at the other side actually clip into these tabs on here. So all you need to do is just put the new filter in, and then yeah, basically the whole assembly goes back in here, sits on here, gets bolted in. What I'm going to do is, I can't remember if you actually need to leave that off and take the sort of the cowl, the panel off there to get to the back of the air filter when I'm doing that, because it's a real long air filter and it goes all the way up there. And I remember I was doing a breather which is just behind the air filter last year, and you had to take all that sort of crap off, so I'm going to leave it off for the time being, just keep the bolts in a safe place. So yeah, keep this off, we'll reinstall it at the end. Tube filter sits in there. I had to move this strut brace as well, and it's basically getting it around the back of there. Really awkward, really annoying. But air filter's out. Even on my old E46, the air filter was like a big tube style filter. I don't know why BMW love these, whereas on the petrols, obviously they're just like a normal air filter. I think it comes out here still somewhere, but it's, you know, it's a lot easier to get to. But yeah, as you can see, that definitely needed changing. Absolutely grafted. And I've cleaned out the housing. There's still a bit of dirt, so I'm going to make sure it's really clean in there before the new filter goes back in, and then we can just put all the rest of the stuff back on. Alright guys, so the filter has been changed. You'll see it's a nice new filter in there just. So I just need to put this front air intake assembly back on, top engine cover, put this back in place, put the cowling in place, then just put the cabin air filter, and that's it. Yeah, cool. Okay, so then it's cabin air filter and air filter done. It's the right mess about for the air filter. One of the most, you know, the slowest, most tedious jobs that BMW could have designed it to be. So yeah, that's fun. So other than that, everything else will be hopefully pretty smooth. So cool, let's go. Right guys, so got this all back on. Got the intake back on, engine cover back on, new cabin filter, new air filter finally. What a lot of messing around that is. Cool. So next what we're going to do is do the oil and filter, and finally we've just got the fuel filter. So I'm going to jack the car up, get underneath it, finally there's like a little inspection hatch, so I'll take the GoPro underneath with me so I can show you what I'm doing, and then drop the oil. Oil filter is really nice and easy on these. It's just here, so just to the side here, and you've even got to cut out a notch in the cover here to allow out easy access. You get a 32mm 6-sided socket on it, put it on, crack it off, and the filter's just in there like a cassette type, but I'll show you that anyway. So just going to jack the car up, put some stands under it, and I'm going to grab some gloves just to take the oil off. Car's still fairly warm. It's not boiling, but it's fairly warm. You want it a bit warm, so the oil has a looser consistency, and it just comes out a bit runnier, a bit easier. You get more of it out that way. So cool, I'm going to jack the car up, and I'll see you in a sec. It's started raining now because England, but we're going to crack on. So what I did was just jack the car up, put it from the jacking point on there, just put something on top of some wood, basically just so if I put the jack under without the wood, it's too low. It doesn't, especially with my bumper sort of hanging off a bit underneath, it does not get underneath the jacking point, which is somewhere like in the middle of the engine bay, but underneath. So I'm just going to jack it up now, and then we will go underneath. I've got some cardboard to lay on because there's a bit of broken glass out here, which is really nice, thanks people. And then I'm just going to drop the oil. Alright, so the car's jacked up. I've got access on that side. Got some somewhere to drain the old oil into. Got my socket, I believe it's 17, can't remember off the top of my head. I've got this to lie on just to slide underneath the car with. So I'm just going to get under here. And then it's up quite high actually. And then as far as I remember, BMWs have a little hatch that you just pull off. Yeah, so if you can see that, like a little hatch, and you just take this off. There's like a big sort of wedge there for a flathead. I could probably just turn that by hand, to be honest with you. Yeah, there we go. Move that out of the way. And then this just comes down. Loads of crap comes with it. And then in there is the sump plug. It's really actually quite well designed. It's just straight down, so you take that off and drain the oil. So we'll get that on the go and come back to it. So we're just dodging the rain at the minute. I managed to find a big high-vis coat that I had that I'd lost in the move somewhere, but I found it in the corner of the garage somewhere. So we're good, I'm tooled up, ready to go out. Oil is draining underneath at the moment, and I've got the 32mm socket on the oil filter housing. I've loosened it off already, so I just need to go take it off, take the filter out, change that. I'll probably do that in here. I'll clear up a bit of workbench space, change that in here, and then reinsert it with new gaskets and stuff, and then we're good to go. Still absolutely chucking it down out there. I managed to run out. Oil's pretty much drained. I've got the oil filter out. It's like a cassette style, so you just take the old one off, it simply pulls off, and then you put the new one in. So just put it back on this cartridge. What you're going to do first is the little seal just here. What you're best to do is take that one off. You can basically take it off with a real small flathead screwdriver, get underneath, take it off, and then just put a new seal, which should be supplied with your oil filter. Just put that new one on, and then just before you put it on, just take a bit of new engine oil, just smear it all around. Just helps it go on there, and also it helps the filter bed home up to the top line once it's on. Don't use old engine oil. It's got abrasives in it. After it's been worn down, there's you know, it's got stuff in it, and it can just harm the seal. So use some new engine oil. Put that on. Put the cassette tape filter on, and then put it back in the car. So the old oil is drained into here. There was a bit of stuff in this tub, so I wouldn't say the colour of that is how it actually came out of the car. Diesels do come quite black anyway, something to do with the way they get used in the engine, something like that. There's some sort of scientific explanation, but I know that it does go a bit black. I got the new oil here. Now I went for Fuchs Titan GT1 Pro Flex. So basically it wasn't the cheapest on OP oil, it was like some elf stuff which I've used on girlfriend's car. I'm not sure I'd trust it in the Beamer on a high mileage engine. So I got the Fuchs stuff, it gets pretty good ratings, and it's BMW LLO4 approved, which is the most up-to-date BMW long life specification, so it'll be absolutely fine. I don't use the BMW service intervals anyway, because they're like something ridiculous, like 18,000 miles now on new oil technology and all that. But I change it, you know, every 10-12k, something like that, or every year, depending on what I do first. So it's eased up a bit, the rain, so I'm going to go out, put the new oil in. I've got a funnel for it, and then it's just the fuel filter left to do, which I might do, depends if the weather holds. If not, I'll do it in a separate video for you. So filled the car with as much oil as it says it takes in the handbook, and I've checked the oil level on there. It's nearly at top. I'm going to start up for a couple of seconds, leave it running, shut it off, check the oil level again, because the filter will take a bit. It'll eat up a bit in the housing and in the channels around the engine. You know, a bit will get stuck in there. So do that a sec, and also usually the oil goes black straight away anyway when it mixes with the old oil in seconds, so it'll make it a bit easier to read, because at the minute it's crystal clear. So then I'll just check the final oil level once I let it run it for a couple of seconds, topped it back up, check it again, make sure it's fine, and then good to go. I'm going to read a bit more up on priming the fuel filter as well. I don't know if you guys have any suggestions. Some people say to prime it by holding the start button on the dash without touching the pedals, so it won't start and for 10 seconds and it primes it. Some people say that doesn't always work and you can't really verify whether it's worked, so use like a manual process to prime it. Not really too sure. I'm going to do a bit more reading on that, but it's still wet out here, and I've got to run out soon. So I'm just going to quickly, the car's serviced apart from the fuel filter, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run the Aircon Bomb through it. It basically just cleans out the aircon system, and it smells nice, and it basically keeps your aircon system healthy, removing bacteria, all that sort of good stuff. And about tenner for one from Built Hamber. So I'm going to quickly run that through the car, and then we're ready to go. So guys, this is the Aircon Bomb that I've got. Citrus is from Built Hamber. I love their stuff, it's really good. I've used one of these previously on a really dirty vehicle, and that didn't smell too fresh, and it came up smelling like new, so you know, this is what we're going to use. So you literally just got to turn on the engine, run the aircon on reset mode for 2 minutes with all the vents open, put the passenger seat back, it says shake the can well, and you press a one-shot release button. So it's like a deodorant can, you press it, but then it just stays, and it just releases all the contents of the can. And then you leave it for 3 minutes, turn off the engine, ventilate your car for 6 minutes before driving, because it is pretty potent. So let's just go get that set up. Alright, shit can well. Car's been running for a couple of minutes with the aircon on reset. I've turned the bottom vents off actually, because it doesn't feel like it's meant to suck in from the passenger air well, but it doesn't feel like it's going to with that blowing, so get rid of that. Okay, now let's have a go at this. Alright, so theory. Alright, okay, well, there we go, stairs. Okay, so. Alright guys, so I've managed to get the Aircon Bomb done, pretty easy. I did have a little bit of issue with some of the residue sticking on the dash, just wiped it off real quickly with a dash cleaner. Other than that, pretty sorted. So yeah, I'm going to have to rush out, so I'm not going to be able to do the fuel filter today. I will do that in a separate video, and then I'll add it on to the end of this. So next you'll see me doing the fuel filter on a different day. Alright guys, so we're back. As promised, we're going to do the fuel filter today. I've already gone ahead and just cracked on with it because it's absolutely glorious out here. It is way too warm to be hanging around out here. So basically I've just jacked the car up on this side, and then if I take you underneath, don't know what the what the lighting's like on this GoPro, but there's basically, if you're on the passenger side of an E90, that is this flap, and it'll look like this. And you can take it off fully, but you've got to get right to the back there and right to the front there. So what I've done is I've just taken enough of it off in the corner of the front one so I can get underneath and just, you know, drop it and move it out of the way enough. So this is the diesel heater. I did originally think you had to take this off, the connector to it, but you can leave that on. I'll go ahead and plug that back in a minute. And basically the diesel heater has a fuel line into it, as you can see here, and that's got one of those weird one-time clips. I wouldn't recommend removing that if you can avoid it. So yeah, you can just pull it off. What I found the easiest was, there's like a bracket which I'll show you in a second, and that just has a 13mm hex head on it. Take that off and it drops the fuel filter down so you can just manoeuvre it about a bit. There's just a normal Jubilee clip, just put a flathead on there, release it and wiggle it off, and then you can drop that end down, and then you can just pull this out. I did have to use a flathead a little bit just to sort of wiggle it out. Just be careful not to damage the actual heater itself, but I've managed to do that, and then I've got it off. And this is the bracket, so there's a 12mm in there, 13mm in there, which is, I believe it was that one. And then there's like a little hex head just, like a little hex head just there, which you take off. So yeah, this is the new part. As always, we compare. The only difference is this has a gap here, and this is welded. But other than that, they look exactly the same. So I think that's maybe just difference in construction. This is a MAN filter anyway, and the part numbers are the same. This is a Wix filter, not heard of that brand. But yeah, so you're just going to remove this off. And what I'm probably going to do is put it in this sleeve loosely, just so I can move it backwards and forwards to get to whichever end I need. I'll probably just do it in the reverse order. Just put the rear diesel heater on first, then put the front one, then tighten it up in the bracket itself, and then tighten the whole thing back up, and then just do with the under tray. So I'm going to crack on with that. We'll come back to you in a sec. Right guys, so we've got the fuel filter back in, car is back on the ground. What I've done is, there's a lot of talk about priming the fuel filter in these and how you can run the HP, FP dry and all that sort of stuff. So I've done a bit of research. I've spoken to my mechanic. You know, the fuel pump's going to be dry for, you know, a couple of seconds while it primes through. It's not going to, I don't think it's really going to significantly affect it, significantly shorten the life of the fuel pump. I think we should be alright. So what I've done is I've just turned the ignition on and off a couple of times so it primes, and then there's like something about holding the start button for 10-15 seconds. It does like a self-prime thing. So I've done that. What I'm expecting to do now is start it. It'll probably take a while to start, run, cut out a bit, and then it should be alright after that. So fingers crossed we haven't broken anything. Okay, give it another prime. Man. Awesome. Okay, well that was less eventful than I anticipated. Alright guys, so that is the E90 fully serviced. So yeah, basically I'm probably going to end this video here. So remember guys, if you did like the video, please like and subscribe, it helps me out massively. Thank you. See you in the next one.